Hello and welcome to Nothing But the Truth. There's no doubt the Sadhavi episode has put the government on the defensive, but how is the opposition fared? Did it come up with exaggerated, perhaps even hypocritical demands? That's the key issue I shall put today to the Rajya Sabha leader of the CPM and one of its senior Politburo members, Sitaram Yechury. Mr. Yechury, let's start with Sadhavi Niranjan Jyoti. There's no doubt that what she said is appalling. But she's apologized, she's been admonished by the Prime Minister. Why can't you accept that as the end of the matter?
Number one, she's never apologized. She said, in case it's hurt some people's feelings, I'm willing to take it back. I express khed in
If
Hindi.
she were to come up with a more fulsome apology, would that then do?
No, but the point at issue is not merely an apology. The reason why I'm objecting to the word apology is not that that would do. In our opinion, there are two issues involved. One is the fact that this is not the language that should be spoken, and this will divide our country's
But the Prime Minister accepts that. The Prime Minister accepts that.
Yeah, secondly, remember, by saying so, what she said, the content of it actually goes against the very grain of our Constitution, a fundamental feature of our Constitution. And it is under oath of that very Constitution, she is a minister. Now, how can this contradiction be resolved?
You're coming up, in fact, not fully but half hinting at what you said in Parliament, that you believe she's guilty of breaching Section 153 of the Indian Penal Code. But the problem is that's your interpretation, not a fact. A judge will decide that issue. Remember, she's only breached 153A if you can claim that she was promoting enmity.
Yes.
She could say that I was rude. Every rudeness is not promoting enmity.
Yeah,
and when you claimed in Parliament that her apology is an admission of guilt, it's maybe admission of guilt of being rude, not admission of guilt of committing a crime.
No, the point is, let the investigation, I've said it in the Parliament, let the investigation on the crime take place. They'll happen outside the Parliament, outside the House.
And when she's found guilty, she'll step down. But till then, why should she?
Till that investigation is going on, as a minister, she should step down. I'll tell you why. Because you can influence the course of the investigation.
Oh.
Delhi police is under the central government. Please understand.
Mr. Yechury, if this was an investigation of corruption, if this was an investigation of a murder or a rape, I could understand. This is an investigation of whether a word used by her haramzado, which she believes was rude, amounts to promoting enmity. Surely her being in office won't hamper the police.
No, I'm a little taken back, Mr. Thapa, that the fact that if you use a word that can lead to a riot where people die, where people are killed, where there is mayhem, is that any better than committing a murder?
Can I put this to you?
Huh?
To say that those who don't vote for the BJP are haramzade is rude, it is unfortunate, it is regrettable. It should never have happened. But to say that it will actually lead to a riot, which will then lead to murder, is a huge exaggerated interpretation.
Why? No, it is not. It is not at all. Number one, it's not just rude. Number two, it's just not one isolated statement by one minister. This comes along with a whole baggage of what we have been hearing for the last couple of months.
So this, in a sense, is the straw that broke the camel's back for you?
As far as the Parliament is concerned, because it's a member of the Union Council of Ministers.
You may be right on that point. But what you've done in response is to hold up Parliament for 4 days. And I want to put this to you. Let me finish, then you answer. I want to put this to you. India is not a rich country. Parliament costs 2.5 lakhs a minute. The cost of holding up the Rajya Sabha for 4 days is 18 crore. There's a lot the government could have done for the poor with that money, but they can't because you wasted it holding up Parliament. Is it fair that on this issue, calling some people haramzade, you should hold up the functioning of Parliament?
I'm appalled at this argument. I would turn around and say it's the government that's holding up the Parliament. Why didn't you at that moment say that this is the minister who has violated her own oath of office, and therefore she steps down till the investigation takes place?
Can I tell you why?
Why did you use your own logic the other way around?
I'll tell you why I'm saying you're holding up Parliament rather than the government, and it's for this reason. Your first demand, and I think you made it personally, was the Prime Minister must come to the Rajya Sabha and make a statement.
Sure.
He took 2 days, but he did come. The night before, you were saying on television in sound bites that if he did come, it would be the end of the matter. The second he came and made a statement, you then had another demand. That's why I say
please,
you're the one.
No. You're only quoting me wrong, and only one half of it, and not even the first half. Prime Minister comes and gives the assurance that action would be taken against the errant minister. Prime Minister came but did not give that assurance.
Because the errant minister has apologized for what was rudeness. You are interpreting that rudeness is a crime, others don't. A judge has to decide. So that is not an issue which is cause for a resignation.
Till the judge decides. What we are saying is you step down.
And you think it's worth wasting 18 crore, stopping legislation, stopping parliament, stopping democracy functioning for this?
Of course not. Of course not. I am appalled that this is happening. But the question should be answered by the government.
And not by the opposition?
No, not at all. Why didn't they, on day one, if Mr. Modi, the Prime Minister, means what he says, then he should have suo motu. There was no need for us to raise it.
Are you saying to me that if on day one,
please wait a minute.
He said what he said on day 3?
He should have suo motu, taken action and removed her for the ministry for the time being.
All right.
He should have.
Let me then try and explain to you why people believe your stand is hypocritical, and in a sense that answers why the Prime Minister suo motu isn't taking action. I'm going to give you several examples of when CPM MLAs and MPs said objectionable, said nasty and indefensible things about Mamata Banerjee. They apologized, they were admonished, and you dropped the matter.
Let me tell you, first of all, I entirely disagree with this logic. Even if you're right, which I don't think you are.
Right. I'll give you examples.
Okay, fine, we'll go into that. Two wrongs never make a right. No, please.
But the person who's committed the first wrong has no moral high ground. You're on the same low earth as the government.
Now the point is, if you agree that what has been said by this minister concerned was something not merely wrong, it was outrageous, it was violative of the Constitution, then action should follow.
All right. Let me then tell you why, in fact, in this instance, action not following is not grounds for you holding up Parliament.
Who is not? I am not holding up. I take objection to that. It is being held up by the government's obduracy. It's not because of me or us.
In April 2011, Anil Biswas, a 7-time CPM MP, and mark that, a 7-time CPM MP, not an inexperienced teacher.
MPs are used.
Right? By the way, let me finish. Said, in fact, virtually, that Mamata Banerjee was a prostitute. And do you know what your Chief Minister of the day, Buddhadev Bhattacharya, said in response? All he said was, the use of such words is unpardonable but unbecoming. He added, will ask the party to warn him. He wouldn't even warn him himself.
But naturally, he's a member of the party.
An admonition and a warning was all he got. Why are you treating Sadhvi differently?
No, I'm not.
I'm
asking the BJP
You're demanding a resignation.
No, I'm asking the BJP to take action. She's a member of the BJP.
But you didn't take action yourself against Basu.
Of course we did.
A warning.
No, he's not in the party. He's never been since.
He wasn't expelled in 2011. He finished his term.
He was.
And he was a serial offender, by the way.
He's out of the party. He's been thrown out of the party.
Let me give you a second example then. In 2012 December, Anisur Rahman, an MLA and a man who had served for 20 years, mark that, 20 years as a minister in left-front government, taunted Mamata Banerjee with the following words: if someone rapes you, how much is your compensation? And once again, he apologized, he continues, he's an MLA today.
No, you're Tapas Pal today? Who's there? I can give you n number of cases to the other way around.
Precisely.
But that is not the point, Mr. Thapar.
That speaks to my argument, not yours.
My point,
Mamata Banerjee forgave him when he threatened to kill.
Holding
can't claim the moral high ground on this issue.
What is moral high ground? We are here saying, is it a fact or not that the minister has made these comments? Number one. Number two, by doing so, has she not violated the Constitution under whose oath she is a minister? Number three, having violated that very... please, let me complete.
Hinges upon her being guilty of breaching the penal code.
Till she is proven...
That isn't proven as yet. It's your interpretation.
Well, she is accepted that she said this.
An acceptance of guilt doesn't mean acceptance of a crime. Look, if I bang into you, the corridor, I will say sorry. It doesn't mean I've committed a crime.
No, this is not banging, Mr. Thapar.
It's rudeness.
This is not at all. It's much worse than rudeness. What are you talking of? Do you know what haramzada means?
Of course I do. Illegitimate child.
Then
come back to this.
I tell you, what are you trying to say? That all those who are non-Hindus, are illegitimate.
She never used the word Hindu. She didn't use the word Hindu.
Then what does it mean?
She was simply saying that those who haven't voted for the BJP. Those who haven't voted for the BJP.
What does Ramzada's mean? What is the invocation of that?
In your interpretation,
you're trivializing that whole issue. You're not seeing the whole package of what is coming in the country. And when it happens, and remember, tomorrow is, in fact, a couple of days, day after tomorrow, is the 22nd anniversary of the Babri Masjid demolition.
So you're attaching this to this,
no, I'm not
and
attaching.
you're concluding
You
from
understand,
the connection that she meant something more.
No, understand the milieu in which you are. I mean, it is not a milieu on the ground. Is a milieu
what you're doing?
That is undermining the very...
and 2 and coming up with 22. Next will come up with 222.
Please,
this
I'm
is not
coming up
justified
with just
logic.
simple 4. 2 and 2 is 4. And that is the 4 I'm talking about.
Can I put something to you? People say that you're making a hangama and spectacle of this issue, not actually because you care about what the Sadhvi said, but because you're worried the BJP is closing in on you and threatening you in your heartland Bengal.
Tell me,
Let me finish and then you answer. They've got now as many seats as you. You've been reduced to 2. Their vote share jumped from 6 to 17. Yours collapsed from 33 to 23. They're snapping at your heels and catching up. And if you look at the by-election results,
what has that got to do?
They won a seat which you had. Reduction.
What has all this got to do?
In Charangi, you came 4th.
Let me tell you.
That's why you're doing it. You're scared of the BJP.
Of course not. What has all this got to do with the price of justice, so to speak? There's an English phrase.
It's got a lot to do.
Hang on.
It's got a lot to do with the problem you're creating in Parliament.
If the Sadhvi had not made this comment,
you would look for something else.
Would this be an issue?
For something else.
Well, yeah, you're very confident that the BJP keeps giving us some issues like this. So you admit that this is their campaign. This is their campaign.
The real key here is not that you're standing up for a principle, that's how you're presenting it. The real key here is you want to thwart the BJP by in any way foot-faulting them. They've given you, through their idiocy, an opportunity to do so, and you're taking it to the hill. As a result of which, Parliament suffers, legislation suffers, governance suffers. You're playing politics.
No, even to use your own word, even if the BJP is committed whatever it did, though if that is the case, the Parliament is being held up for that. Not because of what we are saying. If those comments were not made, why would the Parliament be held up?
Let me put it like this.
And who's holding it up?
Let me put it like this. We've reached the weekend. There is a clear impasse in Parliament. Does there look like any light at the end of this weekend so that on Monday the Rajya Sabha can function?
Of course there is.
Where's that light?
I'll tell you, we first said that the minister should resign or be thrown out.
That hasn't happened.
No. I mean, what happens, that we'll see. Second, we said let the Prime Minister come and assure that he'll take action.
That's happened, but you're not happy with it.
No, he's not said.
You're not happy with it.
No, he's not said. He's not said that he's going to take action. The third.
In other words, you want him to say what you should think he says, not what he wants to say.
Take action means what? Not what I'm thinking, what he's thinking. So let us know.
So then what's the hope of solution this weekend?
The hope of solution this weekend, we have said, let there be. Today we have said, 9 parties, all the major opposition parties in the Rajya Sabha, we issued a joint press communique where we have said, let there be a resolution of the House. We have done that in the past. Let there be a resolution of the House that anybody using such language will not be allowed to use such language. This House thoroughly disapproves.
Prakash
Prakash
Javadekar in an interview on Friday night said to me that this resolution that you suggested was not acceptable to the government for one simple reason.
What?
That if they agree to the resolution, you would have a new demand afterwards. In other words, they don't trust you to make this the end.
Come on, I mean, don't be childish.
He said so.
He said so. No, he may be childish, but you don't be. But all that I'm saying is...
He's saying that he doesn't have trust in you.
Yeah, that's too bad. The point is, this Parliament, this Rajya Sabha adopted a resolution in 1988 calling upon people during the Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid time to maintain communal harmony, don't fall prey and to all these provocations.
And that resolution was ignored as soon as 92. That's what I'm saying. Resolutions are pointless
By whom?
Why struggle
for a resolution? It was ignored by BJP then. It was ignored by BJP then. It's again going to be ignored.
Don't serve any purpose. They're cosmetic.
No.
What's the solution? How long will you hold up Parliament?
That's up to the government.
You mean this Parliament may not function even next week?
That's up to the government. It would have functioned day before yesterday. The government is singularly responsible. Its obduracy is singularly responsible for this impasse.
You say it's up to the government. The government turns around and says that the mere fact that the Lok Sabha is functioning perfectly in the Rajya Sabha isn't suggest that in the Rajya Sabha, where the opposition has a majority, they're exercising the tyranny of their numbers.
Can I put it the other way around? Lok Sabha, the BJP is exercising the tyranny of the majority, which was a word that emerged in the Enlightenment period in Europe.
European
history.
You know what you're suggesting to me, that actually the Indian Parliament has become dysfunctional?
No, it is not.
It clearly is this week.
The health of the Parliament is by what we are saying. And what we are saying...
This is a non-functioning Parliament, it's not healthy.
I'm sorry, why is the government of the day not being able
India
to respond?
Not suffering as a result of this problem? I'm not now blaming you or the government, I'm simply asking you a, in a sense, secular question. India needs legislation, India needs reform, the economy needs a whole lot of reform. You even grant that. Nothing is happening. GST is stuck, insurance is stuck, coal ordinances are stuck, they're all stuck.
Well, because of what? And secondly, I don't agree with you that all those are good for the people. They are not.
That's
Many of them
issue. Legislation is stuck.
But why? But
so
why?
You blame the government entirely?
No, you
blame the government
Of course
entirely?
I do. Of course I do.
There's no blame you accept?
Yeah, you are saying that the Lok Sabha is fine, it's functioning. Has any one of the issues that you brought up come to the Lok Sabha? Has any one of those issues come? No. No, then who's responsible?
So the ball, as far as you're concerned, is squarely in the government's court.
Absolutely.
They can save Parliament or they can ensure that the standoff continues.
Precisely.
Let's take a break at that point. When I come back, I want to switch subjects entirely and talk to you about the internal situation within the CPM, your party, its future, and let me add, your future. We'll be back in a moment's time. Don't go away. Welcome back to Nothing But the Truth, and an exclusive interview with senior CPM Politburo leader and the leader of the CPM in the Rajya Sabha, Sitaram Yechury. Mr. Yechury, let's talk about the situation within your party, the CPM. In 4 months, your party will hold its next party Congress. The press is convinced that you're going into this divided by the rival political ambitions of Prakash Karat on the one hand and Sitaram Yechury on the other. What can you say to me to assure me your party is not a divided house?
I can only pity the press. They have been saying this for the last decade.
And they were always right for the last decade.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. They weren't. No, I can only pity them because, you see, and mercifully, the press is not the party or the party membership. So they are entitled to their opinion.
The matter is that in October, when your Central Committee was unable to accept the draft document that the Politburo had prepared for the party Congress, it was widely interpreted as a reflection of the political divisions and not differences, divisions between Prakash Karat and yourself.
That is the media.
You were on different sides of that debate, and it wasn't a coincidence that you were.
No, but you see, you very few understand the vibrancy of the inner party democracy in our party.
Vibrancy?
Yes.
As opposed to animosity.
I would like
animosity.
No, not at all. And I would like you to please try and recollect with all your vast experience. Tell me any political party in the country which 2 months before its party Congress will make its political resolution public, available in all regional languages. Please bear with me.
For discussion available. For
discussion within the party members, and every one of them can send an amendment to the draft. Which party practices such thing?
That when the discussion happened, there was Prakash Karat on one side supporting what the Politburo had presented, and there was Sitaram Yechury on the other wanting critical amendments.
This has happened so often.
And therefore, what it reflected was differences between you and Karat.
No, there was Jyoti Basu on one side, Prakash Karat on the other side. There was Harkishan Singh Surjit on one side, Sitaram Yechury on the other side. So these things have happened in the party a number of times in the past.
But there's a history of Prakash Karat and Sitaram Yechury differing and taking opposite stands. And by the way, let me add, those are differences that your party happily and readily and regularly leaks to the press. How do you think the press found out about these differences?
Well, I'm afraid that in today's conditions, the press need not find out anything. The press is wonderful at manufacturing its own stories.
In fact,
I mean,
you're very right.
I'll
When
give
you
you.
say the press
I'll
need
give
not
you.
find out everything,
No,
you're right,
it's
because
wonderful.
you people come and tell the press.
No, I told you. Remember the second
You
part.
have your favorites.
Remember
You have your favorites,
not
and you make
at
sure
all.
they know.
Yeah, take up my second part of the same sentence.
Which is?
They are wonderful at manufacturing. In fact, our best creativity today is not expressed in art and literature, but is expressed in your media reports.
It's so easy when
It's
in trouble,
wonderful.
kick the press. It's so easy
Not
when
at
in trouble,
all.
kick the press.
No, it's so easy for the press to hit the politician.
Let me quote,
Always.
Let me quote the Economic Times to you. The battle is not of courage, of conviction, but a bitter power struggle and personality clash between two groups for the leadership when Karat's term ends.
That is what the Economic Times says, which I completely disagree. That is not what the reality in the party is. And the reality in the party, as I told you, the reality in the party is a vibrant inner-party democracy.
What are the chances that this vibrancy, as you keep calling it, and others call it deep differences, could actually lead to a split? Your party split before. Are you poised for another split?
Now, the split and something will happen to the party, it will disintegrate, etc., again, is the fancy of the media. They have tried this, they've gone into these fanciful terrains in the past, they are doing it once again, and they'll once again get back to normal.
In April, and that's just 4 months down the road, your party has to choose a new general secretary. There is a clause in your constitution which under very stringent circumstances permits Karat to carry on. Will he carry on for a fourth term, or will you have a new man in the job?
Nobody can say anything about it, because that decision of who will be the General Secretary is to be taken up by the new Central Committee. The new Central Committee will be elected at that Congress that you mentioned. So till that
I wasn't asking who the new man will be. I was asking simply, will Karat continue for an unprecedented fourth term?
I'm not saying who the new man will be. I'm saying whatever be the decision of who will be the General Secretary would be the new Central Committee.
Would you want Karat for a fourth term, or do you think the time has come for a healthy breath of fresh air?
I and every other member of the Central Committee are past tense once that Congress ends.
But your present tense, at the moment you have an opinion, it's an important opinion, and I'm asking you to express it. What's your opinion today? Do you want Karat for a fourth term, or do you want fresh air?
That is not the issue at all before us.
It's the question. It's the question I'm asking you.
There have been so many questions.
It's the question you're evading.
Mr. Dapper, that is not
it's
a question.
It's the question you're evading with a big smile
not
on your
evading.
face.
It's no question
all right,
before
not
us.
answering.
No, why should? There's no question at all.
Let me ask you a different question. Will the man in front of me, Sitaram Yechury, be a candidate for the General Secretary?
That only my new Central Committee can answer.
Would you want the job?
I suppose I'm not in the Central Committee?
Would you want the
job?
No,
how would I want it? If I'm not in the Central Committee? That's what I'm saying. The new Central Committee will decide.
The chances of your not being in the Central Committee are close to zero.
No,
I repeat, would you want the job?
No, it is not close to zero. Please. That is why I'm saying all these are inner party matters.
My last question, what is Prakash Karat's future after April, presuming he ceases to be General Secretary at that time?
He's as much of a party leadership as he ever was, and whatever be the new Central Committee's decision, we'll all be there in the leadership together.
My conclusion. Between now and April, your party will continue to be in a state of flux. The press will continue to interpret it as a state of division, and the rest of the world will wonder what the future looks like for you. Are you happy with that question mark hanging in the air for so long?
There's no question mark. Let many flowers bloom. Let 1,000 thoughts contend. Let 100 flowers bloom and let 1,000 thoughts contend, was a saying by Mao Zedong. And that is the vibrancy of a Communist party.
Too many flowers makes for, in fact, not a botanical garden, but a forest.
No, not
and confusion.
And sometimes the forests are beautiful.
All right.
And you should take
They also lie deep, and you have miles to go before you sleep. Sitaram Yechury, a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.